Here is today's featured headline in space. The Space Force has selected several companies to work on space-based interceptor prototypes for Golden Dome. Today is November 26th, 2025, and you're listening to Space News First Up. Here are today's other top headlines. European Space Agency member states have started 2 days of deliberations on the agency's budget for the next 3 years. ESA and Lithuanian space startup Astrolight are building the first optical ground station in Greenland. And Northrop Grumman will provide cargo missions for the final phase in the life of the International Space Station.
First Up is produced by Space News, the industry standard for professional space journalism. Visit spacenews.com for breaking news, policy updates, and original analysis.
We begin today with news that the Space Force has selected several companies to work on space-based interceptor prototypes for Golden Dome. Space Systems Command said Tuesday it had issued multiple awards for prototype work, but did not disclose the companies, citing enhanced security measures. The command is using other transaction agreements for the awards, which provide more flexibility on requirements, cost, data rights, and schedules. The work is separate from a planned procurement of kinetic mid-course interceptor concepts, a solicitation for which will be released by December 7th, the command said last week. European Space Agency member states have started 2 days of deliberations on the agency's budget for the next 3 years. The ministerial conference in Bremen, Germany, is bringing together ESA's 23 member states to discuss funding a proposed €22.2 billion, $25.7 billion budget for the agency. ESA leaders said they were optimistic going into the ministerial that they will get most, if not all, of the proposal funded by members. This meeting carried added weight as Europe works to increase space spending given shifting geopolitics and concerns Europe is falling behind other nations in space. ESA contributions may include more funding from defense ministries for certain priorities such as the new European Resilience from Space Initiative. ESA and Lithuanian space startup Astrolight are building the first optical ground station in Greenland. Based on laser technology, the station is intended to provide greater space-to-ground connectivity than traditional radio frequency communications and better protection against interference. Astrolight specializes in laser-based communication systems for space, ground, air, and sea domains. The company expects the new facility to be constructed by the end of 2026, enabling it to serve as a crucial node between satellites in polar orbits and ground-based data networks. Northrop Grumman will provide cargo missions for the final phase in the life of the International Space Station. NASA issued a procurement notice last week, awarding Northrop 2 Cygnus missions to the ISS in 2028 and 2029 under a sole source arrangement. NASA justified the award since docking ports on the ISS, used by SpaceX's Dragon, will be unavailable once the U.S. deorbit vehicle arrives at the ISS, taking one of the ports and leaving the other for commercial crew vehicles. Cygnus is also a leading contender for a separate ESA award for a cargo mission to the ISS to fulfill its requirements for cargo transportation in exchange for ESA astronaut missions there.
Discover your next mission in the space industry with the Space News Job Exchange. Visit jobs.spacenews.com to find top aerospace roles and connect with leading employers. And for employers, use discount code JOBEX for 15% off your next purchase.
In other news, Russian SpaceWeb.com reports that an Angara rocket launched a Russian military satellite Tuesday. The Angara 1.2 rocket lifted off from the Plisets Cosmodrome in northern Russia at 8:42 a.m. Eastern, placing 3 satellites into an orbit at 1,500 kilometers and an inclination of 82.5 degrees. The satellites are most likely part of the Rodnik military communications satellite system. A NASA cubesat mission to study tropical storms has ended. NASA said Tuesday the last 2 of the 4 time-resolved observations of precipitation structure and storm intensity with a constellation of smallsats, tropics, cubesats were shut down earlier this month ahead of re-entry. The 4 satellites were launched in 2023 to study tropical cyclone development. Tropics was scheduled to last 1 year, but extended through the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, even as their orbits decayed.
Share your company's news with the entire space industry through Stellar Dispatch, the press release service from Space News. Learn more and use discount code SD2106 for 15% off when you submit yours at spacenews.com/stellardispatch.
The University of Arizona reports that a NASA asteroid mission is working well in its extended phase. NASA released images Tuesday taken by the OSIRIS Apex as it flew past Earth 2 months ago. The spacecraft is an extension of the OSIRIS-REx asteroid sample return mission that will now visit the asteroid Apophis after it makes a very close approach to Earth in 2029. The September flyby was one of 3 gravity assist maneuvers planned to put the spacecraft on course for Apophis. OSIRIS Apex is continuing even though NASA proposed canceling the mission in its fiscal year 2026 budget proposal. The Guardian reports that astronomers said they may have directly detected dark matter for the first time. A new study says that gamma rays observed near the center of the Milky Way by NASA's Fermi spacecraft are likely created by the collision of hypothesized dark matter particles known as WIMPs. The gamma ray pattern seen by Fermi matches the distribution of dark matter indirectly detected at the heart of the Milky Way, the study claims. Other astronomers, though, cautioned that similar detections have not been made around other galaxies. A publication note. First Up Audio will not publish Thursday or Friday because of the Thanksgiving holiday. We will be back on Monday. Happy Thanksgiving!